If you haven't seen the video before this one, I'll recommend that you watch it. I'll leave a link in the description below, so make sure you use the link to watch the video before this one. It's Figma Basics and Tools episode 2.0. Now, this is episode 2.1. So make sure you get the link and watch the video before this one so you can have a full grasp of the entire basics and tools of Figma.
The next thing we have here is your name, and there's a spotlight me button. Again, if you are working with other collaborators and then you want to make them see what you are doing or follow you through what you are doing, you can then click on spotlight me and they will see that. When you are done designing, you can share. You will add people's email and then send them invites. It is as easy as that. You copy link and send to them. And the next thing is a copy link. Instead of going through share to copy links, you can just click on this and then copy the link immediately and share it with anybody you want to share with. And then we have the presentation icon. When you are done and you want to present to your team, when you click on present, you'll be able to display your design in such a way that you'll be able to read through and then present to others. So I'm just going to click that and let's see what it gives us. We have a frame of iPhone 14 already designed. So this is what we designed and this is what it looks like. But we'll get into this more and more later on. So I'm just going to click here to cancel this tab so we can then go back to what we have. Now that we have this, I'm going to move this image into this frame. And all I have to do is click on the move tool and then select this. I just clicked on it once to select. Now I'm going to click and hold, then drag. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit and I want this image to fit into this. First of all, I might want to move it up a little bit and then I'm going to select the node at the down left corner, click and hold. I'll hold shift at the same time, then use another finger to drag. I'll do the same thing on the edge here, click and hold and then hold shift, then drag. Now I have my image on my frame, so I can move it anywhere I want to now. If I click on the iPhone 14-1 here, I can select my frame. If I double click on it, it will allow me to rename my frame. So I can call this my phone. Alright. So immediately I renamed it my phone. If you look towards the left in the layers panel, this is the frame. It shows my phone. This little drop down arrow here, if I click on it, it will collapse the entire frame. That is to tell you that we have some elements inside the frame, and these are the elements. We have a rectangle. If you select the rectangle, select it here. We have the text tool, the text written, and then we have the image. Another thing I can do is to double click on each of these elements within this frame as well to rename them. So once I double click on this, I can say computer. Now this rectangle, I can say gray rectangle. Right. Another thing you can do with them is to move them around in hierarchy here. You can say, you can bring gray rectangle to the top, bring computer down below, and this will help you in arranging your layers. You might want to get used to renaming and arranging your layers when you are just starting out, because it can become a problem when you have too many elements on your page. The best way to understand how this works is that when you have overlapping elements, let's say for example I bring my rectangle on top of my image and then I also bring my text tool down here, automatically you would notice that the text tool didn't show on the surface. Why is that? That is simply because the rectangle in the layers panel here, the rectangle is on top of every other element. To bring the text tool up, I can just drag the text tool on the layers panel and then bring it up. Now you see that, right? So the same thing with computer. If I want the image to come up, I can just click and drag. the image up here. So that is how you move elements within your frame. I can just move this back up and try to separate them. One thing we did earlier was to create two pages. We created one page called design and the other one called do. We are currently on page do. You can identify that with the check icon next to do. If I click on design, the check icon comes to design. Now on this design page, we don't have anything here. We only have in do. I can as well move the do on top by clicking and hold, then drag above design. I can do that with design too, but then I want the do on top of design, so I'll click and hold on do, then drag above design. So I have do first, then design next. So the last two things I want us to talk about in the basic is other tools under frame tools. So we have section and we have slice. This would really come handy later. Let's start with section. Section helps you to segment the design. So when you start having up to 200 or 300 artboards on the same page, you won't see it as too clumsy. So what people do, for example, I'm going to duplicate this phone. This time around, I'm not going to press Ctrl D. I'm going to click on my phone, hold down Option. On Windows, you can hold down Alt. Then I'm going to drag out here. I have another duplicate of that. Is another way to duplicate, but then I can still press Ctrl D, which helps me duplicate faster, and then I can move. So now I'm going to select everything again by clicking from here, then hover on top of every other frame. Now that I've selected everything, I'm going to press Command D to duplicate. There's already a duplicate version on it, so I can just click and hold, then drag down. Now imagine you have this into 300 and then everything start looking clumsy. So we have this section. Once you come here and you press section 2, you can then come around somewhere at the top left corner of the first section, click and hold, then over on your frame. Nice, you have this first section. You can rename that to menu, right? Then you can do the same thing with this. Let's click out to deselect, then press S again. While selecting my section 2 by holding shift and then S, or clicking directly from here, I can come around here, click and hold, then drag over my frames. So I have another section. So I can say, let me rename this to dashboard. Alright. So you can as well move each section. You can move them away from each other. You can move them to the side. If you don't want sections anymore, you can select section and press Shift Command G to ungroup. The section is gone. As easy as that. So the last thing we have under frame is the slice tool. So what do they do with slice tool? So slice allow you to bring out particular portion of an image or a design. I have this image, for example. Now all I'm going to do is select slice, and I can just press S, then I'll click and hold, then drag over the computer only. Once I do that, I can come to export and then select PNG or JPEG and click on export slice 1. Once I do that, it takes me to my computer to rename the file and where I want to save it to. Let me save it as sliced comp. Okay, now I'll save it under download. Now remember how we place image. So if I go to rectangle and then I select this, it takes me to my computer where I have my downloads. I can just search for sliced computer and then open. So if I click beside here, it places it right next to it. So I have my sliced item. So you can slice any portion of a particular thing that you want. Now I'm just going to select this and delete. Now that's all for basics, and in the following video we are going to learn more about shapes. Now there are a lot of things to learn on individual objects, a lot of things you can do with them using the property panel, and in the next video we are just going to show you that.